Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Marketing Water Cooler podcast. My name is Jeremy Francesi. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. Steph, why don't you give the people the basics on what we're going over on this one?
Well, in this, our first of our Thanksgiving episodes, which just happens to be Jeremy's favorite holiday. Let's talk about your team. How do you make use of all of the amazing goodies that your team has? How do you create a content potluck?
So Steph mentioned, I like Thanksgiving a lot. I don't know why. When I look through the year, there's something about it where when it's done right and everybody brings something to the table, it's just special. And it's not so much about gifts and exchanges. It's just about company. And I think there's something about that it's nice. I guess we'll leave it at that. But I think there's something that we can pull from in the business side, the marketing side, from the potluck, analogy, and thinking about everybody bringing something to the table. One of the things I've noticed over, really the last 6 to 12 months is I think sometimes marketing takes the full weight on their shoulders of trying to be the mouthpiece for the company. But when you look at most of these companies that at least we're speaking to, if you're listening here, you're either B2B, something that has some subject matter expertise requirement to participate in your industry. I look at it as one of those things where, if you took a second and looked at the team you have, everybody has something that is super unique or relevant or valuable to bring to the table. So instead of looking at marketing, like you're running a 5-course meal and you got to do everything yourself, from the strategy and the prep to the making it, to the shipping it, to the analyzing it, to the responding to it. I think it's important to step back. We call this a content inventory assessment. What topics, interests, industries, and stories do your people have that may be a value add in the conversation of marketing and communications? And my bet is that most companies don't do this. They don't just step back and think, okay, Jared is an expert in finance. He has experience in this arena, and this arena. And he also has interests outside of work, like music festivals and this, and soccer, right? I think that more people need to, in the Thanksgiving spirit, do a content inventory audit. Think about what's underneath your roof as it goes to topics, experience. Look at what's there, because then you will really start to see an open playing field of just opportunities. Instead of looking around the marketing department, which may be 2, 3, 5 people, right, trying to do everything, when you have 150, 200 people that have a lot to add to the conversation. Steph, why don't you help keep us going in the right direction?
Yeah, I think it's always, everyone likes to talk about themselves. You'll get even the people who say that they don't want to. But if you just ask and create that camaraderie and that sort of community within your own institution, why not? We've spent this whole season talking about creating community to get people to buy from you, but what would be better than creating a community within your own institution so that people want to stay there and want to connect with each other and want to, they say, hey, I work at this place. It's great. Here's what we can do for you. They become their own marketing people outside, and you didn't even have to pay them for the marketing part. You have to pay them for the other stuff, obviously.
100%. Anyway. Here's something specific for you guys to take away. And some of you will not like this because you're like, that feels weird. And then some of you that realize that the lines of personal and business have been blurred because we're virtual. So the only thing we have, is the ability to have an honest line of communication. Go through the rest of your year and try to complete the following 3 questions for each person. What's their subject or area of expertise? It can be big, it can be narrow. What's their subject or area of expertise? Okay. Second, Ask them, what's your favorite form of communication? Do they like to write? Do they like to speak audio? Do they like video? You're going to get a lot that are like, I don't like any of it. And that's okay. But you'll also get a ton of information from people that are like, you know what, I actually do write on the side. Most consultants I know, they write on the side, right? Like they have a blog, they have something that they use, they write on LinkedIn. And then the third thing is personal interest, things you probably have already. What's one or two things outside of work that lights you on fire, that you love? It could be theater, it could be ballet, it could be EDM, and it could be cooking. But if you can get an understanding of those three things, what are they an expert in? How do they best communicate in their comfort zone? And then what's something that lights them on fire outside of work that excites them? Excuse me. Now you have this entire, like, now you have this spread of your 15, 150, 200 people of like just so much more raw creative resources to work with. You start to look at, okay, well, they like strategy and cycling, and maybe that's a way to, draw something that kind of brings it together. Maybe there's a cultural thing where you learn that like 6 people actually like biking and blogging, right? Or something like that. And you just start to think through things from a standpoint of this is cultural. It's not a tactic. But then you also figure out these 9 people talk about cybersecurity. These 12 people love hardware. These 12 people love software. These 10 people love fire. Like you start to understand who talks about what. So anytime you're building a show, anytime you're building content, anytime you're messaging, you actually know beyond somebody's job title what they talk about, what they want to talk about, how they best communicate that topic. And then that serves as an incredible way to mobilize a team around a marketing strategy. Everybody brings something to the table. And so that's really the punchline. Thanksgiving season, everybody brings something to the table. When that happens, it's typically a better dynamic. And that's where you can really turn marketing from being a department to being a culture. And I think that's what a lot of companies are trying to figure out how to do, because they're not all in office anymore. And that's a really, really clean way to build culture, retention, and just have more fun at work. But it doesn't start and it doesn't happen if you don't know enough about them to bring them to the table. So anything to add, Steph?
It just comes down to, figuring out what makes the people in your company happy and seeing how you can use that to your advantage, really.
Right. Everybody brings something. Everybody brings something. Understand it, organize it, and it just makes you so much more agile. So look, this episode, sometimes I feel like we go over common sense marketing, but in this world where everybody has something unique and to their own, it's okay to look at that and think about that and think, how can we cherish that and bring that out to help grow the culture, grow the community, grow the business. So I hope you'll leave with something simple. Everybody brings something to the table. We'll have a couple more Thanksgiving themed episodes, so we'll dig into simple little things like this, 1-sentence takeaways that we'll riff on for 6 minutes and a half. Steph, anything else before we close up?
No, I think we covered it. Yeah.
I think we're good. So good get to know your people, and we'll be back for more. Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you liked the video, smash the like button and hit subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the new episodes. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We will fold them into future episodes and make sure that you get the help and the answers you're really looking for all things marketing and communications.